They say history remembers the victors, but in the darkest age of mankind, the greatest victory was won by those whom history was never meant to remember. A legion erased from every record. A brotherhood thought weak, fractured, forgotten, until the night the stars went silent, and humanity's final hope woke from its long sleep. This is the story of the Sleeper Legion, the warriors who were never supposed to exist. The soldiers who rose when every other hero had already fallen, and how they won the heresy no one else even knew was happening. The galaxy was burning, world after world fell to traitor fire, the Emperor lay broken on his golden throne, and even the greatest of loyalist legions were scattered, dying, or lost in the tides of war. In the midst of this chaos, deep beneath an unnamed moon, hidden under kilometers of ice, something ancient stirred, the Sleeper Legion. They were not like the other legions. No banners. No glory. Not even a name. They were created in the shadows, a failsafe born from the Emperor's quiet fear that his sons might one day betray him. These warriors were trained without pride, conditioned without ego, taught to feel the pain of humanity more deeply than other Astartes. They were built not to conquer, but to grieve, to understand, and to protect. At their heart stood Captain Kalos. Unlike most Astartes, Kalos remembered the visions implanted in him since childhood: burning cities, screaming civilians, brothers turning against brothers. He did not crave battle, he feared it. He feared the day those visions would come true, and that night, they did. A distant shockwave cracked through the moon. Sirens wailed, caskets opened, and the Legion's stasis vault glowed with awakening light. Kalos stepped out, frost steaming from his armor. He knew, without a word needed, that the galaxy above them was dying. The first challenge came immediately. Their astropathic choir sent a final, terrified message: the warp is screaming, traitors rule Terra. He needs you. The Emperor needed them, the galaxy needed them, but the Sleeper Legion faced a truth worse than any battlefield: they had no fleet. No allies. No home, only each other. Their first mission was a pilgrimage through fire. Warp storms tore at their single battle barge, twisting reality until crewmen cried blood. The shadows whispered their failures. The traitor gods tried to break them before they even began. But Kalos held them together, not as a commander, but as a brother. He spoke not of victory, but of duty, not of vengeance, but of hope. And for Astartes who had spent decades asleep, hope was the only fuel they had left. When they reached the Sol system, they found devastation beyond imagining. Terra was smeared red. Legions shattered. Loyalists dead in mountains. Traitors feasting on what remained, but the Sleeper Legion did not turn away. They descended into the ash, their armor unmarked, their names unknown. On their first battlefield, rescuing a single terrified human child changed everything. Kalos lifted the boy, carried him through gunfire, shielded him with his own armored body. In that moment, the Legion remembered who they were meant to be: not destroyers, not conquerors, but humanity's last breath in a dying age. And with their first step upon Terra, the heresy began to shift. The final battle of the heresy is remembered as the Emperor's duel with Horus, but that is not the whole story. What happened hours before that duel was never recorded. Deep in the ruins of the Imperial Palace, Horus unleashed something monstrous, a demon engine capable of poisoning the Golden Throne itself. If it reached the sanctum, mankind's soul would end in a single heartbeat. Every loyal legion was already broken, every Primarch was gone or dying, every warrior too far from the breach. Except the Sleeper Legion. Captain Kalos led his brothers into the labyrinth of shattered marble and burning steel. They fought word-bearers chanting unspeakable litanies, iron warriors fortifying every corridor, and demonic beasts born from pure hate. They lost dozens, then hundreds, but not a single warrior retreated. At the center of the palace, Kalos found the demon engine, a mountain of iron flesh screaming with warp energy. He knew none of them would survive a full assault. He also knew they had no choice. the Legion attacked with the fury of men who carried the grief of humanity in their veins. They were silent, disciplined, relentless. Each brother fought not for glory but for the future they had never been promised. Kalos saw the machine breach the final gate, that he saw Terra dying, that he saw another vision, the Emperor falling, not to Horus, but to this abomination, and so he made the choice that defined the Sleeper Legion forever. He charged alone, that he tore open the demon heart, that he let it consume him. And the explosion of light, warp, and fire, the machine collapsed, shrieking as it died. The palace was saved. The Emperor had a chance to reach Horus. Kalos did not survive, but his brothers carried his body into the light, refusing to leave him to the darkness. When the war finally ended, the Emperor mortally wounded, and history was rewritten by desperate scribes, the High Lords made one final decree: the Sleeper Legion was to be erased. Their mission was secret, their existence dangerous, their sacrifice too great to explain. And so the chapter vanished, their armor melted down, their records purged, their victories buried, except for one small thing the High Lords could not erase: the child Kalos saved. He grew into a scholar, a storyteller, a keeper of forgotten truths, and in the final lines of his hidden chronicle, he writes, "They were the Legion built to never be known, but I knew them, and because of them, humanity survived." Sometimes the greatest heroes are the ones the world never sees, the ones who rise when no one is watching, the ones who fight because someone must, not because someone will remember them. The Sleeper Legion won the Heresy not with power, but with sacrifice, not with pride, but with purpose, and in the darkest moments of our own lives, that truth remains: you don't need recognition to change the world. You only need the courage to stand when no one else will.